Hi everybody, it's Emily back again for episode 10 of AndersMillknits podcast. Thank you all for joining me on a gorgeous day here in the Oregon area, the northwest area of the states. My name is Emily. I'm your host, and this is Watson. He's our co-host. And my name on the interwebs is AKA Millie, M-I-L-L-I-E on Ravelry, and AKA Millie 907 on Instagram. And the 907 is for my home state of Alaska. So there you go. We have a Ravelry group. It's called AndersMill, which is one word, Knits Podcast. And I have an email address that you can email me at. I don't check it very often. I should, but I don't. AndersMillknits@gmail.com. I hope that's right. See, this is why. I don't check it very often. And finally, we have a blog where you can find all the show notes at AndersMillknits.wordpress.com. No, that is not what it is. It's wordpress.com/AndersMillknits. Yeah. But I'm warning you, that's going to change, because I'm going to go ahead and splurge on an actual website, because I don't like it. Well, I like WordPress, don't get me wrong. In fact, I'll probably stick with WordPress, but I don't like how I mess up on I don't like the address bar, okay? Let's just say that. I don't like saying wordpress.com//AndersMillknits. I don't like it. Watson and me are chilling out on this Friday afternoon. I'm gonna stop saying I'm gonna try anyway. See, I switched it with there you go. We have been out seeing a couple new clients this morning. Dropped by to say howdy do to my boss and picked up my W-2, and I gotta stop saying it. Ooh, I looked like Spike from Buffy. Yeah, there we go. I haven't seen that show in like, I don't know, 10 years or more, but if you look like Spike, you look like Spike. Anywho, where was I? So, yeah, but it's been a lovely day. I've actually been really enjoying my drives this week. We went out to Tillamook yesterday. I get to go out again to Tillamook on Tuesday of next week. I love that drive. It's a little helter-skelter in the wintertime because there's windy roads and it can get pretty dangerous, honestly. Narrow, windy roads. The weather makes it so that it can get pretty slippery, but also the road conditions, as in like the actual road itself, is really uneven, unsafe. There's quite a few places where you're like, oh my gosh, better slow down to 25. And people drive like maniacs on that road. But I love Tillamook. And I love when I step out of the car and I just smell that fresh cow manure, and I'm in cheese country, and I just... there is a textile mill out there, and I keep meaning to go to it, and maybe I'll finally be able to on Tuesday. I could have gone yesterday. I had a pretty light day yesterday, but I really wanted to make it back here so I could go for a walk with my husband. So, you know, kind of choose back and forth. But anyway, so I've already started in on the review notes, so let's just continue. There really isn't any more, except for the fact that we bought a car. My husband's car last weekend decided to go kapootsies. And it was really old. I think it was it's a 98, or it was a 98 Honda Civic. And that guy, he really tried to make it last. But you know, it just didn't. So, actually it did, honestly. It's got over 220,000 miles on it, so that's pretty good. But anyway, so we scrambled around. Last weekend was pretty hectic and stressful. But we were able to get him a new car, and if I get a picture of the car, I'll insert it here, but I don't know that I will, because he's at work and I don't have a picture of it, and I really would like to get this out this afternoon. We got him a Avalon? No, because that's Toyota. We got him a Honda. No. I don't know what they're called. But they're the Honda right above. They're the more, I don't know if you'd call it elite, but they're one step, they're by Honda, but they're one step above Honda. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a 2007 and it's got about 99,000 miles on it, and it's right in that sweet spot where this maker, apparently this was the sweet year to have that car. Like, they're solid, good cars. So we feel really lucky, and my husband looks pretty darn posh riding around in it, I will say. And he deserves this thing. He felt a little bit bad. He's like, well, now I have a nicer car than you. And I'm like, you deserve it. So, and you actually kind of don't have a nicer car, because I kind of have a 2015. I have a newer car. Let's say that. But his car has lots of luxuries, and it has a moonroof. Oh, guys, I love moonroofs. I don't care that it's 37 degrees outside. We've been driving down the road with that moonroof open and my fingers are hanging out because I just love it. I love it so much. So, yeah. So that's really it. Working, doing chores around the house. We've got some curtains to put up this weekend, so that's review notes in advance. We're going to go to the library downtown for our date tomorrow. We decided to wait on our date night tonight. We're going to skip it tonight and go tomorrow and spend the day downtown in downtown Portland. And I've been really wanting to, apparently there's this library down there that's like an entire block or something. And he's been promising to take me to it for the last 2 years. And so I'm taking him up on it tomorrow because we don't have any other plans. And I really, really want to. So that's really it. That's review notes. And Watson's going to get groomed next week. So he's not going to look like a teddy bear for much longer. Yeah. So why don't we do some case notes? I have something in case notes that you guys have never, ever seen. One of my best friends decided to have a baby. She decided this a long time ago. The baby was actually born this week. I think Monday, yeah. And he is the cutest thing. I won't go into his name or show pictures, but I haven't seen him because they live across the country. But he, so he was born, and with her first child, there was a lot of changes going on in both of our lives, so I didn't knit her anything. And then now she's having the second child, right? So her second boy, and all of a sudden it hit me last week that I have not knit my friend a single thing. Now she's a knitter, and she's a good knitter. We actually had a conversation on the phone last week about, do we go DPNs on socks or circular needles, 2 socks at a time? It was a great conversation. And just all of a sudden it hit me, I have not knit her a single thing. And I cannot believe it. I knit everybody things. I knit people I don't even know things. Yeah. Oh, that's a story from back in the day. I had knit I made myself some mittens when I was back home in Alaska, and I was out. I think I was with. I don't think I was by myself. Bubba, no, stop, please, no. I know you want to do some lovin's. I was out with some friends, and I had just finished these mittens, and there was a homeless man, and he was really cold because it was cold out, and I ended up giving my mittens to him, as you do. But so, you know, I knit things and give them to people I don't even know. And I can't believe I've not knitted or anything. So, because this is her second child and she's got a lot of things going on in her life, even though she's a knitter, I wanted to knit this out of acrylic yarn, and I don't own any acrylic yarn. So that's going to be in Toolbox, so I won't show that now. But the pattern that I got is a free pattern. It's by an Australian designer named Georgia Hallam, I think. Tiki knits, tiki patterns with personality, and it's called the G'day Baby. It's probably coming up backwards. I don't know if it is or not. But it's a super simple raglan shaped top-down sweater, seamless construction, garter stitch for the yoke, and then you couldn't change colors. I didn't, because actually when I bought the yarn, I didn't even have a pattern in mind. So I came home and I found a pattern that would suit the yarn. And you can do 2 buttons here. I did something different, and I'm calling it a design, what do they call that? A design interpretation? I'm going to call it that, because we could call it a mistake, but I'm going to call it an interpretation. So you just knit all the way down here, do a little bit of garter right here, and on the sleeves, on the cuffs, and Bob's your uncle. Literally, I knit it in a weekend. Last weekend, in fact. And I think it's really cute. I don't particularly like the yarn, but I think the finished product is really cute. Let's see if I can get this to not curl in. I threw this in the washer. I have never done that, guys. I have never thrown a hand knit in the washer. And I think it's because I never knit with acrylic. But that felt so empowering. And so scary at the same time. So here it is. See, there's little eyelets up here. Those were really fun. I'm telling you, this was a super easy knit. I knit the 0 to 6 month. I think that's what it's called. Sizing to fit a newborn to 3 months. And then she has a 3 to 6 months. So I did the 0 to 3 month. But I didn't get gauge. So this is actually larger, especially row gauge. I didn't get that. But you know what? I don't give a frack. Because if it's not the correct size, then the boy will be able to wear it later, you know, and it's gonna be good. Now, I'll point out my design feature. Let me take that off. So this here is supposed to all be garter. Well, I finished the front of the piece, and I was knitting most of this in the dark because my husband does not like to watch movies with lights on. So I was knitting this in the dark, and once I cast off, I noticed, oh shoot, fire. That part right there is all in straight stocking net. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna move the, actually no, my husband had the idea. Just move the button to down there. So I crocheted a little loop, which I crocheted it too big. So I then made another design thing and did a little swirly thing and tacked it down, and it works perfect, and I like the way it looks. It looks great. So I'm quite pleased with this. Pardon me, guys. Sorry about that, guys. In order to have the correct... That is not what you want to hear. In order to have the correct lighting in the living room, I have to have all the windows wide open, and he can see out into our neighbor's yard, and if anything even flutters, he goes haywire. But because he's not used to it. I wanted to say I knit these on size US 4 and 5 needles. So 4 for the any garter sections. No, wait, no, that's not right. Yeah, 4 for the yoke section and 5 for everything else. And then let's see. I think that's it. I think that's the last I need to tell you. Yeah. So that one's finished. Voila! And that's, again, that's called the G'day Baby. And then, now, everybody hold your breath, because you're going to be so surprised and so proud of me. I have 2 husband socks. Yes, this looks funny because I can't find the right size blockers. And my gosh, has he got long feet. I don't think I've actually got blockers that will fit his feet. But I knit these out of online in their super sock. I have no idea what colorway, I forget. but those are the colors. So it's a nice midnight blue, marled, everything's marled, gray, brown, and then a blip of bright blue before it goes back into the midnight blue. And I did what I talked about last time, where I changed and did decrease 1 row, knit 3 rows, then decrease 1 row, knit 3 rows, and then I switched to decrease 1 row, knit 2 rows, and that solved my problem. However, my husband tells me that he doesn't like the way the square toe feels. I told him, too bad, you're dealing with it this time. And then he was so cute. He actually said, is there a way, because he's walking around the living room in it, and I haven't blocked him yet, but he's like, is there a way that you can maybe knit from the toe going up? And I was like, yeah, there is. How would you even know that? And he's like, I don't know, I was trying to think of a way that the seam wouldn't be there, so it wouldn't bother my toes. I'm like, you are so adorable. And so annoying, because I'm scared of toe-up socks. I know how to knit top down. I got this. My recipe, good. But now he wants me to learn a whole new thing? Come on, man. No, I'll learn it. Yeah, I'll learn it. So those are my husband's by the bed socks. If he doesn't like them after I block them, we've already decided, because I think my older brother wears the same size, that we'd already decided that we can send these to my older brother, who will love these for his hiking socks back home. So that is my case notes. Now in session, I've only got a few things. Remember last time when I said that I was going to concentrate solely on my sweater for myself? That got railroaded because of the baby sweater. But I did, okay, so I always forget the name of the sweater. The Lewis sweater, which looks like that. It's got this beautiful curved hem, and you can't see it here, but see the hem part right here? It's actually split at the bottom. Bubba, come and sit back with Mama, please. I don't trust you right now. It's actually split at the bottom, and which is really beautiful. I decided not to do a curved thing because I wasn't positive how that would look on me. In retrospect, I know it will look good on me, and so I'm kind of bummed that I didn't do it. But, you know, it's going to be a cool sweater whether or not. This is a free pattern on Knitty back in, I don't know if this says. Ah, it does. First Fall 2013. And it's by Jamie Bessel, B-E-S-E-L. So, I am on the sleeves, on my first sleeve, in fact. And this was funny. So I had knit and I knit and I knit on the sleeve. And every time I measured it, I never seemed to be at the right length to start the decreases for the cap. And so finally, I got to it, and I was able to start decreasing. So I was decreasing along, and I actually got pretty far. This is nothing compared to where, and there. This is nothing compared to where I was. I was almost done. And then I measured it again. And the main body of the sleeve was a whole half an inch longer than when I had measured the first time. And I've had this problem with this sweater the whole dang time. Every time I measure it, I get something different. And it doesn't matter, the flatter the surface, or the wonkier the surface, or if I hang it up like this, I'll get a different length. If I lay it on the ground, I'll get a different length. So I've decided I'm just going to be consistent, even though now I'm on the sleeves. I'm going to be consistent. My coffee table is this nice wide expanse. It's nice and flat, so I'm always just going to measure it there on my coffee table. But anyway, I had to rip the whole thing out, and not the whole thing, obviously. I think I ripped back to probably about here. So I've knit all of that this week, twice over. So it wasn't finished, and I was really frustrated, and so I was really glad to have my attention diverted by the sweater for the baby. So this is knit, oh darn it all, I have no idea what yarn this is. This is a 3-year-old project, y'all. I have no idea. I'd have to get it all out. But you can look that up on my pattern page on Ravelry, and I think it's in the show notes for sure. But I did change the needles to my US size 4 interchangeable Hayahayas, and that is making a lot of difference in my knitting, I'm noticing with that. Things are going easier. Because I did have it on some really old Addies of mine, and it just, like, the cord had gotten wonky. Like, the cord was really stiff and, like, didn't want to move out of this weird U shape. That wasn't really a U. It was kind of like, I don't know what it was. It was weird. So, now I have another flub for you, too. So, remember my Find Your Fade shawl? Well, you're going to be unimpressed with this one, too. Because it's going to look like where I pretty much left off. Because the same thing happened here, except different. I got into the lace section, and I totally effed it up. And I didn't read the pattern correctly. And so I got about 3 or 4 rows into it, figured out that I messed up, and then had to rip it back. But then, because of the weird way you do the decreases in this pattern, I was struggling to figure out where to put my line back in, my cord back in. So that took me like an hour to fix this, or more, I don't know. And so this went into timeout as well. So I haven't knit any more of it than this. I just made sure that I was back to the lace part. In fact, I think I did the first lace row, and that's all I've done. However, I am kind of hankering to knit on this, and I'm also hankering to knit on my sweater. So between the two, I'm going to be set for this weekend. But there is still one more thing. Watson, you better behave, boy. You left me. Sorry, guys. I have something new on the needles. And so last week, I finally got in to see my new doctor. And I had a lot of tests to do. Watson, stop. In fact, can you guys see my bruise? This was from last Friday, and it's Friday. So 7 days. I had a huge lump, and now it's just this big bruise. It looks like Chris hurt me. But that's not what happened. So I'm a cancer survivor, and my veins have always been bad. Whenever I drink water, I drink lots of it, but it doesn't seem to ever change the fact that I've got kind of weak veins in my arms. So I always tell the phlebotomist, please don't take it from here. You'll just frustrate both of us, and you'll hurt both of us, because I might end up punching you if you continue. Because usually what happens is they try over here, and they're like, oh, that looks like a big fat vein, and then they try 4 or 5 times over here, and then they give up. They don't try 4 or 5 times, 2 or 3. And then they go over to this arm and do the same thing. And finally, they listen to me and take it out of my hand. That's what usually happens. But I always begin by saying, please take it from my hand. They don't ever listen. So this time, I go in and I'm all prepared for this whole thing to happen. And the phlebotomist, so I tell the phlebotomist this, and he's this super sweet Russian dude, and he's just really amazing. And so I tell him, please don't even try to take it from my elbow. And he goes, oh, well, has anybody ever taken it from down here? And I said, no, is that a thing? And he goes, yeah, totally. And you've got a really nice vein down there, so why don't we try it? I screamed because it hurt so bad, guys. It hurt. Oh my gosh. Nobody heard me outside there. Must have a soundproof thing, because my husband was waiting in the waiting room, and he's like, I didn't hear anything. And I was like, I think I really did scream. I really do. I think it was more than a yelp. I really do think I screamed. But anyway, long and the short of it is, because of that, I'm never having anybody take it from this area again. I'm going back to the back of my palms, and people better listen to me. I know you don't like it. I know you have to use the butterfly, and it's really sensitive. I don't care. Do your job and listen to me. That's what I want. That's what I want, please. I know my body at this point, or I hope I know my body. Anywho, so about an hour later, I had this huge goose egg of a lump on my arm, and by the next day, it was disgusting looking. Like, the bruising was gross, and the goose egg was still there. It took 3 days for that to go away, and the bruising just continued and continued, and it's now down to the point where I bet you it's going to be gone in a few days. But now it kind of looks like a birthmark almost. But it doesn't really hurt at all. Actually, I don't think it hurts at all. Doesn't, no. But anyway, that was annoying. But so, since I was there, I cast on finally for my stepson's socks that he's been asking for. Now, I might have to tear this out though, because they look really wide and he's a pretty skinny dude. So I finally cast on with the toffee colorway from Lion's brand, Sockies. And I hate the way this looks in the ball band. Hate it. Yeah, that's a really good representation. I don't mind it so much. Knit up. It's kind of interesting, honestly. It's weird, but interesting. So, but I did this on 64 stitches with US size 1, and this is looking pretty wide. And so, and he's got a skinny leg. I bet I should be knitting it so it would fit me. I don't know. I might be ripping this out. I don't know. Either that, or I'm gonna make it super long, and so this will be more of the calf area. And I don't have no idea how many inches this is. And then I'll decrease, and then knit the rest of the leg. What do you think? Down to the foot. I don't know. Anyhow, but that's the last thing I've gotten on the needles. I've just got those 3 things going. I have things on the needles, don't get me wrong. You all know. You've seen the other sweater, the Hohilo Catelli sweater that I've been working on, and I really want that sweater, but I also really want to finish my 3-year-old project of a sweater. So I'm going to do that. Then in my toolbox is just the acrylic yarn that I bought for $3.50. And wait till you see the ball band. I mean the ball. I got the Loops and Thread Snuggly Wuggly Big. It's a DK weight. Comes with a pattern on the back. It's a cable baby blanket. But it's bigger than my head. It's frightening. Let's see how many. 1,263 yards. And you know what? I should have known. $3.50 for 1,263 yards. I mean, that's ridiculously cheap. Like, stupid cheap. And guess what? Stupid bought it. I'm not saying I'm stupid. It's just that I should have thought it through. I worry about the sweater. Because, I mean, it's feeling softer. It'll get softer and softer as you wash it, I'm sure. But I didn't enjoy knitting with it. I almost don't, I bought it with the intention to send it on to my friend so that she could knit something further if she wanted to. I'm almost contemplating not doing that because I don't know, she's not a yarn snob. She likes nice yarn, but she also likes, you know, chain yarn. So maybe I'll send it on to her because I have nothing I'm going to do with this. But it did create a beautiful sweater, so we'll go with it. But that's the only thing in my toolbox. I'm really trying to concentrate on not purchasing things right now that are yarn related. There's some fibery goodness stuff coming up, yarny goodness stuff coming up. Like there's Madrona Valentine's weekend up in Seattle or Tacoma. And I've been trying to talk my husband into taking me up there. In fact, I'm hoping to meet up with Kat from Intrepid Potter Yarns. She's amazing. And but I don't know if that's going to happen. And then you guys should go and look at her self-striping yarn. It's amazing. What did I knit? I think I'm still in the midst of knitting a pair of fingerless mitts from one of her skeins that I have. I'm pretty sure I didn't. If I finished it, I must have given it away. I don't remember. My memory. And then there's also the Rose City Yarn Crawl coming up in March, which I'm trying to convince my best friend to come down for her 2nd year in a row. I doubt that's going to happen because she just bought a house. Congratulations. But that would be awesome. And between those two things, I figure I'll have enough yarn purchasing going on between those two things that I don't need to worry about anything, and I really need to be focusing on our budget. We really would like to, you know, hone that to a fine edge. What do they call that? So we'll see how things go. So that's it. So I don't have anything else. I do have a couple books that came in the mail from Amazon this week, but I'm going to be looking those over. Like, they just came today, this morning. I'm going to be looking those over. There's some self-help books that I've been interested in looking at for a long time, and I really think now's the time that I'm ripe to be reading them. And besides from that, that's it, guys. And I have bad news. I don't have any footage for the end of our podcast today because I didn't take any when I was out at Tillamook yesterday, and I only took one picture. I have not been active on Instagram or anything the last 2 weeks. It's been a really weird kind of time for me. I've been focusing on some other things, some more personal things that I've been trying to work through. And we can get into that in consultation on the next podcast. But anyway, but that's it. My blog post is up about the knitting with intention, and I'm learning that that's a little bit different than what I had thought. Like, if I could go back, maybe I'll even add an addendum, or maybe knitting with intention part 2, because my husband... Watson, no. I'm almost done. Give me 1 more minute, okay? 1 more minute. No! Sorry. Every little noise today, apparently. Anyway, my husband noted after I wrote the blog and he was reading it, he's like, what about knitting for you? Shouldn't you find the I in knitting? And I think that's so funny because we'll get into that on the next consultation. But he's right. I need to find the I in knitting. So that might be another blog post. But anyway, for now, I like what I wrote there. I really feel good about what I wrote and about my process about doing it. But it is an ever-evolving system, I think, or process for knitting and me, knitting and you guys, I think, because how we feel towards our knitting, towards the process, towards the object in our hands changes, even from moment to moment, not just day to day, moment to moment. And I think in order to honor that, I need to be able to write up something to reflect that changing. And some days I feel like all I want to do is knit for others, and other days I really resent it. That's part of the reason why I was having such a hard time knitting my husband's socks, is because there were some times where I actually kind of resented knitting for others, not him, just others, period, in the past little while. And I just really wanted to knit for me. It's kind of a novelty to be knitting for me, and I really, really enjoyed it leading up to the wedding, and so I kind of wanted to continue it. But I'm back in that stage where I'm like, you know what? I just love knitting, period. And I'm in a very giving mood, I guess, and so I want to share that with others. And there are people in my life that are drop-dead gorgeous, spirit and physically, and they deserve these things. Case in point, you know, and especially these. So yeah, but that's enough. That's enough, guys. We're good. But there's no video. Sorry. Long story short, there's no video at the end. But I really want to thank you guys for joining me today. I really missed you, and I'm glad that we got to sit down and chat for a little while. I know this is kind of on the shorter side, but still. So just a reminder, you can find me on Ravelry as aka Millie, and on Instagram as aka Millie907, and I will see you in 2 weeks. All right, take care and hold your knitting. Well, what do they say? Hold your knitting close. Yeah, and then Brenda Dane says, put on a sweater. That's what they're for. Bye, guys.